I'm bringing back one of the big dogs in the game, somebody I've talked to for years. He's elevated his game time and time again. A published author, real estate mogul, moving Airbnbs out the yin gang, contracts, in Kuwait. So, just different places, different things. I'm bringing on the mysterious man, Mr. Victor Vinziant. How you doing?
I'm pretty good, man. I appreciate the intro.
Oh, man, it's all good. It's all love with us. You already know, man. I appreciate you.
Man.
How you doing? What's going on?
I'm outstanding, man. Like I got in town yesterday and, been navigating these wet streets and then it turned dry and then,
Well, where are you from? Where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. Yep. I left home in like 99, joined the Army, was active duty for 12 years and 7 months. And then after my time in the Army, I worked overseas as an intelligence contractor for about 3 or 4 years.
What he says.
Yeah. And, dabbled in real estate, to try to create some passive income so I can get off, go from the transition from being employed to self-employed, to truly becoming a boss.
So your, as far as your passion, your drive, your different, gears and motivations and lanes you choose, does that come from family, genetics? Do you think being in the Army for 12 years? What do you think attributes to your drive and passion for more?
Winning. Like, what's the point of being out here to lose? Like, so I'm with whatever amounts to winning. You know what I'm saying? So the world deals with money, economics, and time, and they deal with human beings on a contractual basis. So you need to deal with the world on a contractual basis. You need to make your money when it's hot, and be flexible enough to move on to something else, because when economics and history change, it's going to move on to something else and leave you behind anyway. So, I just try to look at it as staying ahead of the curve.
And that's one thing I took from you, the years I've known you is, I was used to sitting on something because it was hot for so long. And then when it was cold, I was cold, you know what I'm saying? Instead of being prepared and either having something set up or, being ahead of the curve. So I definitely, I know you're telling the truth there because I watched you do that and I took a little bit piece of that too. What made you write the book, publish the book? What is the book about? What are you trying to do with the book?
So
the books,
yeah. So the first book is called A Code. And if you can look at the bottom of it, it's a blueprint to achieving solidarity among reasonable Black people. So Black people always talk about we want to come together, but we have to figure out what's the foundation in coming together. You have to set a reasonable conversation, you can't decide where we're going to go eat. Think about trying to decide to go to eat with a whole bunch of people. You know what I'm saying?
It don't happen.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody got a peanut allergy. Somebody don't like this.
I don't eat steak.
That's too far to go. I'm too hungry to wait on service. It's a bunch of different things. But when we have a realistic conversation about where are we? How much time we got? How hungry are you? You have a different conversation, a different approach to creating a table for reasonable discussion. So, because we have to transition out of debates and into dialogue so we can have less competing understanding, less unhealthy conflicts, and more progress and more solutions-based dialogue.
And I totally agree. As far as Black people moving on, moving up, moving forward, besides communication, because that's basically, where we need to start. And what is it going to take besides communication? And either us as a people, us as men, you know what I'm saying? Like what is it going to take for us to at least get going in the right direction? Well, or have we?
I think we already are, because we're having a conversation, number one. The most important thing is that the leaders can't worry about nobody else but other leaders. Because I believe that the lines have been blurred by the wrong representations. There's a significant difference between men that are leaders and men that are not. So first and foremost, we have to consider the source of information. Who is credible enough to lead, and what metrics are we putting in place for expectation management, just in case somebody makes mistakes? Because we've had plenty of leaders get caught up in human errors and destroy all of their credibility, and now Black people are left to deal with the fallout of it. And one of the things that I talk about in this book, we got to stop putting so much responsibility on entertainers and
I
athletes.
totally agree.
I think that the personal accountability conversation has to happen in your house first, and then you change your neighborhood. You got to change your house in order to change the neighborhood. Um, and the neighborhood is not necessarily the roof you live under, but it's the people that you can reach out and touch. Like for instance, I'm visiting.
Yeah, yes, sir.
This is my neighborhood today. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
no,
You
man,
in
you with
town,
me. It's good.
all, yeah,
Nah, you with
exactly.
me.
Like
Yeah.
you in town with me, it's all love. We got to stop looking at our neighborhood as the zip code where we pay bills. You know what I'm saying? We got to start looking at our neighborhood where we get reciprocated, where
Yeah.
we can find respect and in a place to grow in a healthy environment.
Yeah, and I totally agree. And what from one standpoint, what I tell people is, especially young men, they ask how me and my brother have been able to be where we're from in the city and still have love and respect around the city. And I tell them it's because when we come into spaces and people's lives, we come as Ron and Ronell. We come as human beings. It's different when someone's introducing himself as rah 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 or where are you from? You know what I'm saying? On some, that's of course that's gonna set an aggressive tone when it's like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm such and such, you build a rapport. Then you might be able to say, you might be a Crip, I might be a Blood. But since you know you're Vic and you're cool, it's like, oh man, that's what's up. Right. But if your opening is, man, what's good? I'm this and that, then it's gonna be aggressive all top. So I tell people it's not only communication, but it's how you communicate, it's the aggressiveness, it's the whole intention of how you introduce yourself to somebody, the first impression. So I totally agree with what you're saying. And I do agree. I feel like we have gotten started. Yeah. Just because the conversation. Well, being a black man, I'm seeing so many great black fathers. I'm seeing some men take great steps toward economic success, financial freedom. You know what I'm saying? Like watching you do your thing with the in Killeen, Texas. You know what I'm saying?
We got to reinforce the wins.
Yeah.
See, we give too much visibility to everything that we fail at.
Facts.
And we let the failure get the most attention. Whereas, like, if you just looked at sheer numbers, there are far more demographics of people that have far more failures, far more of the same turmoil. Like, for instance, white people by sheer numbers have more people on welfare just simply because it's more white people.
True.
But we vacuum up the party line on that, the negative party line. So like my book was written to capture the narrative, you know what I'm saying, to reinforce the things that we already doing well, because I hate hearing black people don't work together when it's a room full of black people in here right now. Yeah. I hate when people say
in Seattle, Washington.
Yeah, in Seattle, Washington, right? You know what I'm saying? So I hate hearing how we won't come together when I've written a book that says let's do it. You know what I'm saying? And I published this in 2018, and the origins of the book came from, you remember how much I used to write on social media?
Yeah.
And my old profile got scrubbed because, you know what I'm saying, whatever Zuckerberg, you know what I'm saying? It's too late. It's too late now here. I just basically went back about 5 or 6 years and scrubbed everything that I wrote, because I'm pretty good at remembering keyword searches. And I put together a rough draft and I wrote a book out of it. And I'm lucky I did that, because my old Facebook profile is no more.
Yeah. No,
so
good.
but
bookmark this.
But that's exactly how fast we can be washed out of history. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's seen the Avengers, Infinity War.
Yeah.
You remember that scene where Tony Stark had set that trap to kill Thanos on that other planet?
Yep.
And then Star-Lord messed it up. And then Tony ended up getting stabbed with his own armor, and Thanos leaned his head back and said, I hope they remember your name.
Yeah.
That's how fast you can be washed out of history. Like there's some people that have dropped albums that we don't even remember, because we can be inundated in you can be inundated in information and drown in the specifics. Because if somebody gives you one thing to hang on to and learn and become an expert, the whole world will pass you by. So, which goes back to the whole entrepreneurial spirit, having multiple sources of income, a diverse resume, so you can find different ways to get your intellectual property in line with whatever it is that your talents are. Merchandise, that's what I'm wearing today. You know what I'm saying? So like I represent that because we've seen it play out. I don't know what people have taken from the culture of rap music over the last 20 or 30 years, but I took the hustle from it. You know what I'm saying? And that's where we are right now.
Yeah. No, I mean, I totally agree. So do you do seminars? Do you do private one-on-ones? Do you do Zoom meetings? Do you offer services?
That is actually coming.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And consider this to be like an intro of it, because like I've been recently, streamlining my business, trimming the fat on things that I want more or less connection to, and figuring out my marketing, because I wanted to come out right the first time. I don't want to be overwhelmed. Just like I said, inundated, in the information and drowning in the specifics. That could easily happen, if you're not careful, because I know what I got the most equity in. I know what I have, like the most resource in, the most flex, which direction I want to go. So I got to package it the right way.
Yeah.
So I'm being responsible about that. You know what I'm saying? And doing the right networking. So, it could be the transition that everybody else can benefit from too.
Hey man, no, that's love when it's about everybody.
Because I think men that are leaders have to be men of service. Like, understand what I'm saying? Like, you have to get up. You have to get up. You have to get up and go do something for somebody else. It's like, I always use this analogy too. It's like, if you're in the kitchen cooking, you ain't gonna starve if you're feeding everybody. But if you got to wait for a plate, you might not eat, because you got to take what's there. But if you in the kitchen, you gonna eat as you go.
Yeah.
Come on,
by the time food done, man, I'm good.
I'm good. You can sit back watching everybody else. So we have to have the same, take on it. Because like a lot of times we don't think about why we need to invest in our communities, whatever those communities are, because social media creates different communities too. So you can have a virtual community, and you can have, your true brick and mortar, community from curb to curb. But if you don't take care of that community, whatever level it is, that same community is going to come back and bust your head. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't think about the place we want to get old in. And if you don't invest in the youth that's in that same community where you're going to get old, you can't go to Walmart safely, bro.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you're living better than the people that you have like looked down on along your way, they're going to do you in.
Yeah.
Because how loyal is a hungry dog?
Exactly. I tell people all the time, you feed the wolves. Like, you have to feed the wolves.
Have to.
So before we get out of here, any IG, Facebook info, anything that people can reach you at, where they can get the books?
Yeah. On Facebook, you can find Accountable Masculinity. You see the logo right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, look for that. Let's see. You can find the book on Amazon, The Code.
Okay.
And also find The Business of Me. The Business of Me is more of a personal insight. I started to write both of these books together, but I felt like everybody was going to get my business, so I decided to go ahead and put it by itself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it can kind of be a standalone about who I am and the makings of me that went into making this.
Okay.
You can find me on IG at Accountable Masculinity. You can find me by name on all social media platforms. Okay. Yep. So, man, look, I'm real active on social media. You already know that. We communicate a lot on there. You know what I'm saying? Reality is, this interview is a culmination of our social media. It's a product. So like, we represent it for real.
House Sports.
Come on, man.
No, I met him years ago on House Sports on Facebook, and it blossomed into some more. So man, we the merch will be out soon too. I'm getting ready to make some big orders, sweats and everything else, man. So get your Christmas orders. Of course, man. Of course. Appreciate you coming. Man, thank you, man. You know, it's always love.